Shout out to IG. Y'all the first one pop up in here today. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Shout out to the TikTok family, YouTube, Facebook. Shout out to y'all. I wonder why it turned me that way. That's kind of weird. Why did it do that? Turn my camera back. It did me wrong. It's like it put me in a different mode. There we go. I'm gonna say why it put me in that mode. That was weird. Shout out to everybody joining the live. I appreciate y'all tapping in. If this is your first time on my live, welcome. I go by Zabo103. I'm the dude that gets live, and I just try to provoke thought. I do believe if you think, if you research, and you take action, you absolutely, without a doubt, can win. The choice is truly, truly, truly yours. Definitely appreciate you too, family. If this is your first time on my live, put a one in the chat. I want to see who we got new up in here. If you've been on my live rocking me more than once, put a three in the chat. Do something a little bit different. Let's just see who all we got up in here. If you've been on my live more than once, put a three in the chat. First time on my live, put a one in the chat. Just want to see who we got up in here. No people coming in slowly but surely. I have one, three, four, five different platforms up right now. So you gotta forgive me. That's kind of why I'm looking all over the place. What's up, B? Be in the building. On YouTube, actually, yeah, you on YouTube today. Shout out to you, family. You be everywhere, man. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to all the people that's been rocking with me for a while. We've been going live now for 43 weeks straight. And y'all, it's been a journey. Can't even act like it hasn't been. It's been a complete journey. And, you know, in any journey that you go through, you're going to learn a lot if you're truly open to it. And I've learned so much stuff on this journey that has been unreal. And I'm hoping that as I've been sharing my journey with you all and sharing the things, I hope you all been learning some stuff too, some things y'all can apply. I know everyone is not always going to utilize information that you those that do, salute to y'all. One thing that I've learned, and I made this comment yesterday, and I might even rerun it back again. But how can I put this? When you're on your journey to whatever greatness that you're trying to create, no one wants to listen to you at all. No one. And that's perfectly normal. When you get to the place where you're supposed to be in life or where you feel like you've arrived and people have seen that you have arrived, that's when they want to pay attention. That's when they want to listen. What I believe is it's so ironic to me and hilarious when I think about it, right? When people start asking, well, what did you do to get there? What did you do? The same stuff I was telling you all that time when you didn't want to listen. The same stuff that I was sharing with you. Think about that. Don't worry, we got a live tomorrow too. Tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Zabo103TV.com. But the same stuff that you're asking on how I got to where I'm at is the same stuff I've been telling you. The only difference now is, if we're being honest, because I found myself to arrive in a place where I need to be, I'm less accessible now. And being that I'm less accessible to people that now want to pay attention and learn and do all these other things, It's gonna cost you. And I share that with you because a lot of you all are on your journey and you're being disciplined, you're being focused, you're doing the things that you need to do. And you're excited about it and you want to share it with everybody and their mama. But ain't nobody listening to you. Ain't nobody paying attention to you. When you finally make it and people start asking you, what did you do? Just remind them the same things I was trying to tell you back then. Well, can you explain it to me again? Because I had so much going on in my life. I ain't got no time. You get it? So I'm saying this to say that, and the reason why I preface that is because for the last 143 weeks I've been going live, and I can tell you when I very first started going live, some people kind of saw maybe certain things, maybe in me, maybe they saw certain things that I was doing, and they kind of picked up on it quick, which I think is amazing. And if you picked up during a journey, that's amazing too. But a lot of people was like, weren't paying attention to it. Didn't matter. There was no point in even really even talking about those things because the reality is nobody was absorbing none of it. And it's almost scary to say that out loud, but it's the truth, right? I get so many DMs from folks asking me, hey, can you walk me through this stuff? And I'm thinking to myself, where the heck you been? When I go live, I'm walking you through it. I don't really have time to pop on lives like I used to and sit on live for like 2, 3, 4 hours at a time and just spoon feed you all this stuff. I ain't got the time. Instead, I created Zabo103 TV so you can go binge watch everything because that's the only thing that I can figure out because I don't have time to do anything else. A lot of the things that realistically that I talked about in the past, you know, some of that stuff today may have changed. That's been almost 3 years ago. Things change all the time. So I say all these things to say this. Whether it's me or anybody else, if someone is giving you information, they're taking the time out their day to give you information, I would strongly suggest that you go do your due diligence and your research. If you find out in your doing your due diligence and your research, man, they don't know what they're talking about. Hey, put it in your back pocket. You might need some of that maybe for a later date and keep it pushing. But if you find out that it's legit, don't just sit on that stuff, y'all. Don't just sit on it. You need to absolutely, without a doubt, utilize the information. There are so many people that I encounter, and they be like, "Hey, man, I've been waiting on doing this. I'm gonna knock this out. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that." It's been years. So today, what I'm gonna do, we're gonna talk about obviously the journey because that makes sense. We're gonna talk about some of the things that I experienced because that makes sense too, and we're gonna talk about how um, you can do those same things. We're not gonna really be dealing with some of the trolls that pop up in here. I don't even know like how some of these people they be creating accounts and they pop on my live, right? And when they pop on my live, like this person right here that I just blocked. Let me do it this way. I can't even pin it. There are so many fake accounts out there of me, it's unreal, y'all. And it ain't nothing I can do about that. I'm almost flattered. The only thing I don't like about it is I know they've been trying to hustle y'all. I'm never, ever going to DM you, trying to talk to you. I'm never, ever going to send you something and tell you to hit me up on the WhatsApp. I don't even have a WhatsApp. It just is what it is, y'all. And 9 out of 10, if you just a random person that I don't know, I can assure you, I can assure you, I'm not going to start following you and then following with a DM. I ain't got that much time, y'all. These are people that are creating with my stuff on it, and I'm flattered. I can't be mad at it. I'm straight up flattered. That's fact, family. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to ask you for money in that way, ever. I'm just not. Hopefully that's fair. But with that being said, let me just put some ground rules out there. And again, we got a good amount of people up in here between all the platform. I just actually made my TikTok page for a split second. And I might leave it public because the reality of it is people are grown. People are gonna do what they do. I can't do nothing about certain things, y'all. And as grown people, we got to do our due diligence. Like when it comes to these things, and I thought maybe me making my page private, it will slow down. People will copy my stuff to trick you. The reality of it is, you really don't have a reason to be tricked. It just is what it is. But nevertheless, I digress. If you're new to my live, I know my day one people, I saw a lot early like y'all always do. If you're new to my live, we're gonna dig in tonight. The time there is 4:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We probably gonna rock out for about 2-3 hours a night. This would probably be one of the last times that I probably stay live like this for a long period of time on social media. But I want to make sure I give everyone that's new to the live an opportunity to understand why somebody's to give the new people opportunity why you just said, oh, I didn't heard so much about this cat. Let me just get up in this live and see what you going on. So let's do this real quick. If you're new to my live, put a 1 in the chat. Because if I don't have no new people in here, you're gonna speak to day one people and we'll spend the hours with y'all. If you're new to my live, put a 1 in the chat. Shout out to my day one folks though. I love y'all, man. Y'all be going hard for your boy. It look like all day one people up in here. Lola, you know? Okay. Welcome. We ain't got a minute. Well, I'll take that back. Maybe we do got a lot of new people. I need to look around a little bit. The first thing I'll say is this, and I know people gonna come and go, so that's cool. But I'm not gonna do a lot of repeating. The first thing though, I will say this. You gotta have an open mind. Don't let your education stop your education. I can promise you, if you want to figure out the quickest way to fail, stop learning. What's up, LC? That's the quickest way to fail. So have an open mind. Just think there are things that you don't know. And sometimes other people, no matter what they look like, no matter what they sound like, no matter who they are, they may know something that you don't know. And that just doesn't apply to y'all, it applies to me too. The other thing I would say is that all the things that you have learned, right, over this time frame, you got to unlearn it. Now, I'm not saying unlearn it to the point of don't use some of those things because some of those things are going to come in handy. But a lot of the things that you learn, it's nonsense. I'm not sure what happened. Oh, I see what happened. They did what I thought they were going to do. People on TikTok be weird, man. They straight up and down report my account as I'm live. Uh, we're gonna get them back up in here, y'all. But you gotta remember the stuff that you've learned by design has been to keep you in a position of being a consumer. And I don't think that I know that when I was thinking this way, for me, and I don't know, I can't speak for everybody else because I'm not everybody. I just thought it was the right thing to think. I thought you had to think that way. I thought that had to be the situation. I didn't think that there was another process out there or other things out there that you can do to get this life that you always imagined. I never knew that. I just always thought that I thought that everything would work out in your favor. And I never understood why it always seemed like people that didn't work hard, people that um maybe weren't as ethical as I believe they should have been. It seemed like things were always working out for them. And I never could put my finger on it. And it was almost scary when I thought about it because I kept saying to myself, I'm doing the best that I can. I'm working as hard as I know how. I'm being ethical. I am everything I'm doing is above board. Why I can't get over this hump? And it seemed like they cut a whole bunch of corners and they just getting there. I never understood it. And after a while, I realized it wasn't that the people were being unethical. It wasn't that they were being greedy. It wasn't what they were cutting corners. It was none of those things. They weren't locked in to the things that they were taught. Because at some point they figured out what they were taught they needed to unlearn. When that moment of clarity hit me, just if we're being honest, I could have sat down and cried for days because I was truly hurt. Truly hurt. Hurt because I had wasted so much time with people I could have spent more time with before they left this planet, before they made the wrong decisions. Whatever it was, I could have spent more time with these people. And because I was so locked into the way that this world tells us we have to be, I was disappointed, but not so much in the world, disappointed in me that I was such a fool. When I had that aha moment and I decided to say, I'm going to unlearn the stuff that I need to unlearn, and I'm going to start applying the things that I'm going to learn, this other way of dealing with life, and not just this other way with dealing with life, but this other way of putting my bloodline in a position to have wealth for as long as we on this planet. Things became simpler. Things became a lot easier than what I could have ever imagined. When I started realizing things like money's not real, the only purpose of money is to make money, it has no other purpose. When I started to realize that I'm not supposed to be using money personally, because money is only supposed to be used for public and private use, it really started to, like, my brain, it's like somebody went in and just took everything out and just started dumping stuff in. And it made me get excited about life. Meanwhile, people on the outside looking in, that realistically, they knew I was transforming, but they didn't know what I was transforming into. They thought it was a little odd. But they would say, How is he not able to do anything and still reap everything that he's reaping over there? And I'm doing things that I do. Saying, how is it possible that this person is getting all these things and I'm working way harder than them? And in reality, everything that you've been taught, unfortunately, has been a myth. It's almost scary the amount of times when I do get those opportunities to just have conversations with people, obviously people that I know, and they're trying to figure out how to take their life to the next level. When it finally clicks for them, they realize, oh, that's it. It's even happened when I've been on these live before. I say, okay, you want to know how to get wealthy? There's two things you need to do to become wealthy. When I tell people the two things they need to do to become wealthy, they say, oh, that's it. And they automatically start to think about all these other things that it could possibly be other than what I had just said. I'll prove it. I'm not sure what's going on over here, y'all. Maybe it's a sign for me not to be on. But you know me, I'm like, I will be out. But in fact, let me slow down for a minute. I don't know what's going on over here on TikTok. Something weird is happening. Let me just say this is a safe place. Everybody's welcome. I'm just showing love. That's it. My TikTok family, I appreciate y'all tapping in. Like the room. Let's get the engagement. Come up. Y'all got kicked out? Oh man. That's weird. Let me see what's going on here. Let me see something real quick. Support. Okay. Should be good. I don't see a reason why not. That is so weird. I don't know. But y'all make sure y'all keep liking the actual page. That's what they told me that you're supposed to do on TikTok. And make sure you share the room. That's what they told me. I don't know. But let me go back to where we was at. Instagram look like y'all good over there. Shout out to my IG family. Shout out to y'all. YouTube, Facebook look like y'all good too. All right, cool. But when I say those things, people automatically want to create this whole other environment, this whole other world that ain't even real. Instead of what I had just said, if you want to know how to get wealthy, there's two things you have to do. And the people, well, if you tell me the two things, I'll make sure I do it. And when I tell two things, it gotta be more than that. You must not really be wealthy because it gotta be way more than that. It's like they create all this doubt behind it when in reality, you just got the magic. This stuff is really simple, but you can't keep complicating these things, y'all. I can't stress it enough. The hardest part about this journey is simply staying disciplined. That is the most complicated, tough, difficult, whatever word you're looking for saying for this. That is the hardest thing to do. Staying disciplined. A lot of people ain't disciplined enough to be wealthy. And if you're one of those people that ain't disciplined, then the best thing I can tell you, find somebody else in your bloodline that's very disciplined so you can make sure all the information get to them, because if they're disciplined, they can change your bloodline life. But you gotta be disciplined. There is no other way around it. Does that mean you can't become disciplined? It doesn't mean that. It really depends on how bad do you want these different things. If you want wealth in your bloodline and you want it bad enough, you'll become disciplined. But if you're not that person, you're just not that person. It ain't for everybody. And that's the truth. The other thing is, which was really eye-opening to me, especially with me being at Bank of America for 20 years as an executive without a college degree. I'm saying that because when you work at the bank, you basically is a numbers type person. You should be. And I was. I'm still am. I'm a numbers type person. And this is the part that probably I was more disappointed in myself about, being that I'm a numbers person. Nobody wants to do the math ever. If you start breaking down the math of different things that you see, that you want, that you have going on, you will see how easy this stuff really is. The other thing is, when you start talking about just math, you know how to do add and subtraction, you know how to do multiplication, geometry, algebra, trigonometry. You know how to do all these different type of math equations, all like the wazoo. But when it comes to money, you don't ever know how to do the math. You are one trick pony. When it comes to money, you only know how to add and subtract. And that's a scary thought. You know how to take how many hours I work. I'm going to add this, I'm going to subtract that. And it's because this is how you've been conditioned. If I got my check today is $2,000 and I got $1,500 for bill. That means I'm only have $500 left over. That's the limit to your math when it comes to money. It's like you forget how to multiply. That was probably one of the most disappointing moments that I've had because I consider myself a numbers guy, right? But when I finally sat down and started doing the math, I said to myself, "Oh, okay, this ain't so tough at all." Here I am at Bank of America talking about, man, if I had me $1 million, man, I retire, man, and I'll travel the world, man. I'll take care of my family, man. I'll do all these different things. Hadn't really done any math on it at all. Didn't even realize if you have $1 million, you don't get, you better not quit your job. I'm gonna say that one more time. If you and you don't know what to do with it, you better not quit your job. Not until you learn what you need to do with your $1 million. Think about that for a second. And that's the part where it'd be like, how you learn to do different things? You're not going to become this savvy investor overnight. That's not going to happen. You might never become a savvy investor, ever. But you got to start paying attention to what people before you that have built wealth in their bloodline, you got to pay attention to what they've done and what they do to maintain it. Because the reality of it is, that's the only way it works. If you're looking at someone and says, here's what I see, so this is what it has to be, I can tell you flat out, you're going to get in trouble, especially when you're watching people on social media. It's all an illusion. None of it's real. It just is what it is. And why can I say so passionately that none of it's real? Because nobody on social media at all is ever going to post their losses. You're only going to see their wins. You're only going to see their happy moments. And the moments where they're not so happy, it all looks staged. Like, why is this person on social media crying? How did they record themselves crying like that? Did they start over if they mess up? All of it's an illusion, y'all. And that's the part that you got to start to wrap your brain around. Because if you're going to start working for your last name and not your first, you're going to need that actual tool on your tool belt too. You're going to need to know what levels to pull on when it's time for you to start conducting business. Because unfortunately, in this world that we live in, You need social media. Sure, you can have a business without having social media, but you know how powerful your business would be once you add social media to the equation? Because now it becomes beyond the reach that you have in your local area, wherever you at. It becomes a United States wide thing. It becomes a worldwide thing. You get it? So I'm saying all these things. What's up, family? I'm saying all these things to say this. You got to have an open mind. Don't let your education stop your education. You got to be able to do the math. PA is what you can pay attention. It's not to people that ain't paying you no attention. They all you got to say about it. They come back later. They come back later. Just know you need to have your feet ready because it's going to cost for your time. It just is what it is. And understand that you have to be disciplined. If you can do those things that I just mentioned, put a 4 in the chat. If you can be disciplined, stop your mind, and do the math, put a 4 in the chat. Just want to see where we at. If you can't do it, put a 5 in the chat. I don't know. All right, we good. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Thought I had that lost y'all for a minute. Like, what happened? Check this out. I want you to just imagine this for 1 second. If you have a job or you have your own business, you have an income coming in. It's coming from a customer. If you have a job, that money that's coming in from the customer, you give it to your job. If you have your own business, you have an income coming in, it's still going to your business. Okay? So we all on the same playing field. Okay? If you decide at any point to take your life to the next level, and again, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a wealth manager. Hold on a second, y'all. That's so weird. I don't know why they did that. That's so weird. Why do they keep doing that? I don't know why I did that. That's weird. But back to what I was saying. If you have a job or you have a business, it's not going to matter. You're doing the same stuff, y'all. One of them you're doing for somebody else, the other one you're doing for yourself. But ultimately, you're still working. That's just what it is. No matter how you slice it and dice it. Okay? The thing that I want people to think about here is this. Just want you to think about this for a second. If you start taking those dollars that eventually comes back to you, no matter if you're on a job or you're on a business, if you start taking those dollars that comes back to you and put them in those 3 basic places that I always talk about, basic living expenses, the biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford, and land, you will change your life forever. I cannot stress that to you enough. And the reason why I say that so confidently is because it changed my life forever. And I don't even know another way to make it simpler than that, but it just did. When I originally started buying land, I had a life insurance policy. I ain't know much about it. Just if I leave this planet, I know that I'm going to have this amount of money that's going to be passed to the people that I care about and love the most. That was my extent of it. But when I started buying land, I started to learn all these other things about land, what the taxes actually are, what land I should probably be purchasing, what land I shouldn't be purchasing, based on my level of experience or based on the things that I wanted to do with it. I'm not sure what's going on here, man. This is so weird, y'all. I'm not sure what's going on with TikTok, y'all. I might have to get off of TikTok. Let me see here. 15 shares. Appreciate you, boss. Appreciate your family. Let me see if I can do something else. The audio is good. I'm lagging. Oh, okay. That's what it is. Okay. So I'm lagging on her. Video is good, but I'm lagging. Okay. I'm not sure what it is. It's like blocks of people get kicked and then people come back, then blocks of people get kicked. It's weird. Maybe people going in and out because I don't know, it's doing something weird. But nevertheless, I digress. But I learned to do a lot of do's and don'ts when it come to land. And it made me start searching other things when it came to land, to the point where I was just like, man, I didn't know nothing about conservation when it comes to land. I had never heard of BLM when it comes to land. Didn't know what it was. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm also on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, and I'm on Facebook, just in case. But it was just the oddest thing, y'all. I was learning all these new things about land, things that I never knew. Unreal stuff, if I'm being honest. And it made me dig deeper on how to keep it. How, once I leave this planet, how those things are still going to be available to my kids and maybe my grandkids, so that they're not put in a position that they're going to lose it. And when I started digging deeper on how to get those things done, things started popping up like, if you got your own life insurance policy, your life insurance policy needs to have a living benefit and a death benefit. And I was like, okay, well, I got a life insurance policy, and I know what the death benefit is. What are you talking about this living benefit? It made me start digging life insurance policy. Then I started studying this life insurance policies, and I started saying to myself, wait, I can create my own little ecosystem to where I can set myself up for success, set my kids up for success. Appreciate your family. You mean to tell me I got life insurance policy on my kid, and the idea is every kid in my bloodline, as soon as they're born, a big old life insurance policy should be going on them? All that stuff started popping in my head because of the land. That's how I stumbled upon the trust stuff. Man, I gotta have a trust. It wasn't because I didn't want to go through probate. I stumbled upon I have to have a trust because I started saying to myself, man, some of my land is gonna be in my private trust. Some of the land might be in a trust through the business, which technically is public. Like it started like all these different things start coming at me. So when I say to you, if you put your dollars that are coming back to you from your job, from your business, in basic living expenses, the biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford, and land, It will change your life forever because it's going to make you dig deeper. And I can't, I wish there was a way for me to maybe water it down more or dumb it down more so people can really connect with it. But I don't know another way to say it. Why am I saying that about land? Because you make money when you buy land, not when you sell it. Land is the only thing on this planet that only goes up in value and don't go up and down. I don't know why I keep saying that. It keeps saying like, hold on a second, y'all. I see what it's doing. Okay. I don't know what's going on with that, y'all. That's weird. I might have to do something different on the TikTok side, but I'll get that situated in a minute. It's kind of weird though. People be really trying. But what I'm saying is, when you have the land and you buy it, right, and it's going up in value and it's not going up and down, that's money in between there. It's an equity, if I'm putting it into layman's term. But the other portion of the land that you don't understand is it's an asset. You get it? So it's not just going up in value by itself, it's doing it on its own, but you also can make money off of the land on top of it just going up in value. The basic way that people understand is what? Man, I put me some rental properties on there, man. I get that little cash flow every single month, man. I'm doing good. Man, I can do me some commercial real estate, man. Give me a little shopping center, man. Man, I'm doing good. That's the basic things that people know when it comes to land. People don't understand that the timber company will pay you $4,000 an acre to come and cut your timber, and you can replant some more timber and wait another 15 years and get that $4,000 all over again per acre. People don't know that. People don't understand how much money is in hunting, period. 7 figures a year, multiple 7 figures a year, depending on how big your acreage, how much acreage you have. If we're being honest, people don't understand that the people, when you go to these airports, these are huge, massive commercial hangars used public. The landowner who owns that airport is making money hand over fist. And if you're talking about private hangars for the, you know, top 10% of people, where they chartering planes and doing all these different things, housing their own personal plane, they have to house this stuff somewhere. They house this stuff on landowners' land because they didn't build the hangar. People have no idea how much money is in pecan. As a person that planted 100 acres of pecan trees back in 2023, I can tell you, you can make some really good money as long as everything is harvesting. Right? I can't tell you how much money into this. What I got on my back, what she got on her back, what he got on his back. I can't tell you that. It's almost unreal when you think about it. You want to take it a step further than that? Basic water. Landowners, people. Landowners. That's what it's about. You don't believe that? Prayers go out to the people out there in California who lost their home to those fires. They didn't have no water, y'all. And they right near the water. And they didn't have no water. They had no water to put it out. Ain't that crazy? Meanwhile, there was a couple in California that owns 60% of the water source. But California didn't want to pay that tax. So they said, we can't help you. Think about what I'm saying. These people were landowners. That's what it boils back down to. I mean, they also own Fiji water and Palm and all these other stuff. The point that I'm making to you is that land ownership is the key. Land ownership will open doors to everything else that you could never imagine in your life. And when I really sat back and I dissected it and I saw it for the first time, I was like, whew. Well, I know I don't know everything, but I know I got to keep buying land every day of the week, as much as I can buy. If it's for sale and I got the money to do it, it's about. That was my mindset. Even if I didn't know what I was doing at that time, I knew for a fact it was happening because I knew it was going to open doors to everything else. As long as you got land, you ain't ever broke. That's a wild thing to say. Here's something that really blew my mind. I didn't even know this was a real thing, but I kind of found this out later. And maybe y'all already knew this, but I'm slow. Okay? So bear with me. Okay? But I did not know that farmers don't have land. Most of the farmers that are out there right now, some, not most of them, a lot of them, they don't own no land. I did not know they would lease land from landowners and then do the farming that they love. I did not know that, y'all. I did not know that was like big business. I did not know if I got a bunch of acres of land sitting over here and the area is right for whatever this farmer want to do, I can lease my land out to the farmer. And the farmer go out there and do what they do. I said, that is the most craziest thing I ever heard in my life. That was like the wildest thing in the world to me. Like I couldn't wrap my brain around it. Because in my mind, if you're a farmer, I would just assume you got land. And that wrong for me for assuming. The cell phones that you all are on right now watching this live, your connection that you have or the lack of connection that we have right now is based on cell phone towers being in the area where you live so that your cell phone can bounce off of that tower so that you can get reception or service provided to you. The cell phone companies don't own the land that those cell phone towers sit on. They don't own that land, y'all. They lease that land from a landowner. I can't even make this stuff up if I wanted to. So the reason why I'm telling you those three things and I'm starting with land is because land is going to open your eyes to things that you ain't ever heard of or ever really, you've seen it, but you ain't paid attention to it. Guaranteed. Why that big old life insurance policy? Whole life. I know people say, man, I'm going to go get me an IUL. Hey, man, have fun with it. Let me know how I go. But I'm just a whole life insurance policy type of person. Why? Because it got a living benefit and a benefit. Everybody on this live has heard your health is your wealth. And people say that stuff for the dumbest reasons. I blinked my eyes today. I know that's right. Your health is your wealth. Girl, I got rid of him. He wasn't no good for me, girl. I know that's right, girl. Your health is your wealth. Bro, I tied my shoe today. I know that's right, fam. Your health is your wealth. We got to stay getting to the bag, man. The health is the wealth, man. We got to make that happen. People don't even be understanding what they saying it for. They don't even understand the statement that comes behind it. In fact, most people ain't even ever heard the statement that comes behind it. And I sit back sometimes and I laugh when I hear it and I say to myself, this is kind of weird. The saying is your health is your wealth. The healthier you are, the bigger the life insurance policy you get. I want you to think about something for a second. Everybody trying to become a savvy investor, and they don't have a life insurance policy up under their belt. Appreciate you, B. They don't have that life insurance policy up under their belt, and they will even tell you, man, that life insurance policy is a hustle. You missed it. Imagine for a second that if you can invest your money into things that are going to get you a guaranteed return on investment. I'm going to say that one more time. Imagine for a second you were going to invest your money into things, only things that's going to get you a guaranteed return on investment. What would those things be? Well, we know land because it only goes up in value, right? You're going to get you a guaranteed return on investment on it. What else? If you put your money in that life insurance policy, the whole life one, something that has a cash value, IULs have that too, right? But there are some risks associated with it, right? But you're telling me I'm going to put my money into this policy, I'm going to get compound interest daily, tax free, that I can borrow against and pay myself back with interest? Why would I do it? I just created a guaranteed return on my investment. Tell me other things that you get a guaranteed return on investment outside of this policy, outside of land. Go. Go up and down. So it's not going to give you a guaranteed return on investment. Sometimes gold is up, sometimes it's down. A guaranteed return on investment. Tell me getting a guaranteed return on investment. I want y'all to just think about that for a second. Just really think about that. Land only goes up in value and it don't go up and down. That life insurance policy that you get, that whole life insurance policy that we just talked about, you're paying for it every month, sure, or every quarter, or every year, or every 6 months, however you decide to set up your premium. But that amount is going up. Even when you borrow money from that policy and pull the money out, the money is still inside the policy getting compound interest daily, tax free, even though you borrowed the money out. So it's still going up. And this is the part when I started to see these things, it's like something exploded in my head. It was like, what is happening? Why didn't I know this stuff? This is unreal. But we get caught with all of the products and products. The life insurance is a product, but we get caught with all the other products to distract us from land ownership and having that big old whole life insurance. I haven't studied or seen or heard a wealthy person on this planet that don't have land and a big old whole life insurance policy. I haven't seen it. And I could be wrong. I haven't looked at everybody wealthy, but I ain't seen it. And when I'm talking about wealthy people, I'm not talking about these people y'all talking about. Y'all running around here calling LeBron James wealthy at $2 billion when there's a person by the name of Nathaniel Phillips, 53 years old, walking this planet worth 500 trillion. It don't make sense. The math ain't mathing. Something is wrong with this picture, but it's the distractions. It's the distractions. Imagine your average working person, an employee. If you're walking around here, you're the average employee on this planet. You calling another employee wealthy. I want y'all to think about what I just said. If you are an employee, have you met any wealthy employees? They might be wealthy in spirit, but tell me the name of the last wealthy employee you met. If we're being honest. But these are the conversations that most people aren't willing to have because it starts to talk directly to your spirit. Because you have to come to the conclusion that this is you. And you're not going to talk in that type of way to yourself because nobody really want to be honest with themselves. They want to make exceptions for themselves and make rules for everybody else. When I had that reality check with myself, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. I can't believe this is the mindset that I've been in all these years. I'm running around here calling other employees wealthy. It was a wild day. I was, not that far back in the far back past was calling LeBron James wealthy like everybody else. Until I had that reality check and said, ain't no employee that I've ever studied wealthy. And no matter how high paying of a salary that you have, your salary will never ever, because it's not going to make you wealthy, because wealth is not money, it's time. And the last time I checked, LeBron James worked for the owner of the Los Angeles Lakers, which makes him an employee because he get a paycheck every week. It's just a high paying paycheck, right? But he get a paycheck. Mrs. Bush write his check along with every other person on that team. If we're being completely honest, this is without us being super biased about who we like and who we don't like. Appreciate your family. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. And that's what you really have to let that sink with yourself first before you can start taking these things to the next level. He's trading time for money. It's a fact. And how we call it, if we using it from a money standpoint, how we calling somebody that's worth $2 billion wealthy when Elon Musk is worth $441 billion? If you use the money as the standard, they're not the same thing. Just so we all on the same page. If we're being just 100% honest, if he's worth $2 billion, Elon Musk can take his $441 billion and divide it by $2 billion a year and give it to LeBron for what, the next 200 years? LeBron James will pass away before he actually got all of that $441 billion, even if he were giving him that every year. If we're being honest, Nathaniel Philip Rothschild, who's worth $500 trillion, he can give, if I'm being honest, I don't know, for the next 100 years, he can give Elon Musk's net worth for the next 100 years, and Elon Musk will never see it. If we're being honest. But nobody want to have that conversation. That's too far left. These are the you got to start talking yourself about, because you got a reality check with yourself. And the reason why you got to have these deep reality checks with yourself is going to force you to become more disciplined. When I started realizing it wasn't about the jury, the cars, the houses, all that other garbage, and going out and getting all this stuff and wearing your wealth. When I realized that that was the case, my perspective shift. It instantly made me more disciplined with playing the game a whole nother way. Most people will walk around, and I hate to say it this way, but I'm just one love. Most people don't understand if you sit down and you start your journey and you go out and you start your business, you go get you that big old whole life insurance policy, you go get you a trust, and you go get you some land. Now, these are obviously you got to sit with those professionals to make sure you're doing it the best way for you to accomplish what you want to accomplish. But if you go out and go get those four things, you can put your life in this cycle of doing things. And I hate to say it this way, and I'm not gonna go too far deep on this on social media because I know I'm gonna get silenced for saying it. So I'm not gonna go too far on this. If you put those four things into action, you can make it to where your kids never have to work a job ever in their life. You can make it to where your kids never even have to conduct business a day in their life. You can make it to where your grandkids, your great grandkids, your great grandkids ain't never got to work, whether they working for themselves, for their family, or somebody else. Ever. And that's how powerful that stuff is. And I'm saying to myself, this is crazy. When I had that epiphany, I'm like, my babies are trust fund babies out the gate. They instantly got a head start on life. I could have never imagined coming from where I came from for me to have some trust fund babies. Everybody in my family poor. At least they was. Everybody in my bloodline before me, poverty. I don't know anything outside of that because I wasn't raised with a silver spoon in my mouth. In fact, didn't even have a spoon at all. So the point that I'm making is you have to unlearn all this stuff that you done learned because the reality of it is it's a big world out here. And I promise you, you don't know nothing. I thought I knew everything because I was an executive at Bank of America. I thought I knew everything. Appreciate your family. You couldn't tell me that. I thought I knew everything because I was an executive at the bank. Just to realize I done spent these last 20 years acting like I know everything because I thought I did, just to realize I ain't know nothing. I ain't know nothing. It's almost scary to even think about this stuff. And the reason why it's scary is because most people don't really understand that they're in the perfect position to do these things. You have a job, you have a business, you in the perfect position to start setting up your life. But you gotta want it. I can't want it better for you than you want it for yourself. I just can't. I have people that come to me almost every day. Zabo, I checked out your book, man. It's powerful stuff. Okay. Now what? Zabo, I went over there to Zabo103TV.com and I registered. I'm looking at the stuff. Okay. Now what? I'm learning a lot over there, man. It's powerful. Okay. Now what? I want you to start digging in and start taking action. I want you to start digging in and start pushing for greater and more and more and more because the reality of it is There's so much more stuff, y'all. I get on these live platforms and I'm sharing certain things. I'm like, hey, there's a bigger world out here, way bigger than social media. A lot of people got up and went to work today. I've been at the crib chilling. I've been at the crib chilling. Okay, you must have had a vacation day. I was chilling yesterday. And the day before that. And the day before that. And the day before that. I have a 7-day weekend every single week. Even when I attempt to go hard and say, man, I'm gonna go hard in my business, I'm gonna work for my business, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Even when, and I have 13 different businesses as of today. Even when I go out and say, I'm gonna work hard in my businesses, I still have a 7-day weekend every week. Because the reality of it is, I put certain processes in place to pay people for their time so I can get my time back. Because that's the secret to becoming wealthy. Poor people trade their time for money. Wealthy people trade money for time. I could make that up if I wanted to. But most people that have a job, you understand the most vital thing that you have to get right, and it shouldn't be complicated to you at all, is your timesheet. If you falsify your timesheet at work, that's the quickest way for you to get fired because somebody wealthy is paying for your time. Stealing time is a big deal at your job. I don't care where you at. And if you get away with it right now, good luck in the future. If you are a business owner, I get it. You got your own business, you grinding, you're doing your thing, keep grinding, keep pushing, but you got to get out of this mindset of you can't trust nobody. Because being that you can't trust nobody, you are a owner of one, which means you still doing the same thing you were doing when you had a job. You still trading time for money. It just is what it is. And I know you can't jump out of the gate and just do these things, but that ain't the reason why. You have been doing business for years and you still can't trust nobody, but you don't understand you have to start paying people for time so you can get your time back. It gives you the ability to think about how you can grow your business, how you can start other business, how you can make different investments. But if you're stuck on, I can't trust nobody, man. They're gonna steal from me, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. You're stealing from yourself. That's the truth. You're so fixated on adding and subtracting, and what you need to understand is how to multiply. Multiply yourself, that is. Go out there and start hiring people to get your time back, people. As a person that got 99 employees, I'm telling you flat out, I love it. I ain't caught nobody stealing from me yet. And if somebody do, then we gonna cross that bridge at that time. And they better hope it ain't over a certain dollar amount, because if it is, I'm gonna treat them the same way they would be treated in corporate America. Because the law is the law. And if these working, clean, hard-working people that I hired, that I understand they were like people that like people, if they decide to break the law, then that's on them. And it doesn't matter who it is, because I'm conducting business. It ain't personal. So it ain't that I have to trust them. I trust me. This is a lot of the reasons why people won't go out and say, hey, man, I'm going to get into real estate and I'm going to get me a couple of rental properties. And I don't want to get, I would get the rental properties, but I don't want to get the rental property because what if the tenant don't pay you? Evict them. What if they got kids and stuff? They knew they had kids before they decided not to pay the rent. They knew these things. That ain't your responsibility. Unless you just decided you want to take care of another household. If you want to be that generous, have fun with it. But that's not why you started doing real estate, right? If they was in one of them massive apartment complexes, they wouldn't be telling nobody, hey, they got kids. No, they just get evicted. People are grown and they have to grow up. And that starts with you. So it ain't business owners that you don't trust nobody to hire nobody. You don't trust yourself to deal with situations when they come up. Because you got a big heart. Save your emotions and your heart for the people that you say you care about and love the most. Anything outside of that, you playing yourself. That's the truth. Because those same people that you would say, I'm going to give you an extra month to stay here, are the same people that'll make you go through a full eviction process and then turn around and find a loophole and figure out a way to how to sue you. But that's the truth. So, gave y'all a couple of things y'all need to start thinking about. Putting all your dollars that come back into your pocket, whether it's from your job or from your business, put it into basic living expenses, the biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford, and lean. Everything outside of those three things just become creative things to add to the equation as long as it's going to fit the bottom line. And the bottom line is, how do I create a head start for the people in my bloodline who I ain't never gonna meet? They say in the good book, the big guy said that a wise man or a good man or something like that leave an inheritance to his children's children. And I'm trying to do the math on that. So his children's children, they'll be your grandkids. Your children. So those would be like your great grandkids. Your great grandkids. People that you ain't even gonna meet. Ask yourself the question: what you done in your life at this point? Have you put yourself in a position to leave an inheritance to your children's children? You're gonna have some people right now on this line say, "Well, I have," and they may have. But this is not a statement that I want people to. I'm not looking for a response to get the good job. That's not what we're looking for. This is something you need to answer for yourself. If the answer is no, then what I would suggest, and it's just a suggestion, I would suggest you do something about it. Think about what I just said. Understand what I just explained. I don't know what that means. You said, do you gave to? I don't know what that means. Yeah, your parents didn't either. Sucks. That sucks. If we being listen, y'all, can we be grown and honest tonight? You can do whatever you like. See, let me explain something to you. If you choose to live on this planet and do for you and leave this planet, nobody's holding your feet to the fire on that. That's your choice. That's 100% your choice. I'm never gonna be a person to tell you to do something that you don't want to do. But I know for me and mine, I had to make that sacrifice because even though I was strong enough to get out here and do some things for my life to be whatever lifestyle I wanted to be, my kids might not be as strong. My grandkids might not be that strong. And I don't want to leave it up to chance. I don't want to leave it up to no one else other than me I don't know how many people on this live, and maybe it's not a lot of people. Maybe this is the new world that we live in. Maybe people like going to work, working for other people, and just working, coming home, paying bills, and going to work and paying bills. Maybe. And I would say this in the most sincere, loving way that I can say it. Some people are just selfish, and that's okay too. Ain't nothing wrong with that. What's up, family? But I understand how powerful it is for your kids to have a head start on life. And the reason why I understand it, I look at my life and I say, man, I went through hell. I look at my oldest, I'm like, man, she had her life was better than mine, but it could have been a whole lot better. I look at my baby boy who's 7 years old, who ain't never seen his mom and dad work a day in his life, and I'm just looking at how he's growing up as a young boy and gonna eventually become a young man. And I listen to the things that he say, and I watch the things that he do, and I'm saying to myself, like, man, that must be love having a life like that. You ain't got no care, no worry in the world about nothing. You ain't stressing about nothing. And most kids should experience that. All kids should. But you know what's even more powerful than that? What happens when you start experiencing these things as an adult, where you don't have a stress or a care in the world? What happens when you start worried about all those different things, when you don't have to worry about no bills, when you don't have to worry about is all your notes together? So when you go in front of you get on this call tomorrow at your job and have this meeting, you don't stumble up and mess up and then get feedback. Or a single mom, that's true too. But it goes back to the sacrifice that you're willing to make. No matter if you're single, married, whatever, the reality of it is you have to make a sacrifice. And if you're going through hell right now, don't stop. Keep going till you get up out of there. You got to make the sacrifice, people. Because the real truth of all of this is there is a solution for whatever problem you have. I saw here, I don't know who it was, I don't know which platform, one of these platforms over here said, I got 5 acres, I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. Okay. You got 5 acres trying to figure out what to do with it. What do you know how to do? Are you a farmer? Do you raise animals? Is there timber on your land? Is there pine trees on your land? Do you got water on your land? Is it residential based? Is it commercial based? What's the simplest low hanging fruit here? If it's residential based, you can easily go build you a property. Well, I ain't got the money to build a property. Ain't nothing wrong with going to the bank to get you a loan to build you out a property. Go to the bank, get you a construction loan. They're going to have some requirements. Go ahead and meet all the requirements that you got to meet and build you a home. Well, if you're an investor, they're going to want all this extra money now. Build it for yourself. It's on your 5 acres, right? You live in a home right now today. You got another home that you're about to build. Build it for yourself. That's the home you're gonna move into. It's just gonna be for you. It's just you and you got 2 kids with you. You can go and build you a 4 bedroom, 3.5 bath, 2 car garage home on your land for you and your kids. There'll be new construction. You're moving into it. You're gonna get better rates the whole 9 yards, And then you're gonna refinance after the construction loan to get into your permanent loan. And when you refinance to come up out of it, you're gonna take that cash equity that you get tax free, and you ain't gonna worry about it because you're gonna be paying yourself back. It's your money. With that equity that you just pulled out of that property, guess what you can do? The property that you were just saying, you can do a little remodeling over there if you want to. Once you do the remodeling on that property you want to, you can go ahead and rent that property out. Now you got somebody paying that mortgage over there and getting you a little bit extra on the mortgage that you got right here today. You still should have some more cash flow left, some little capital. What are you going to do with that capital? Well, you got 5 acres. You can go and do the same thing all over again because now you got a tenant in that other property paying your mortgage over there. You in your new property paying the mortgage. What are you going to do? You can go and get you another construction loan for another property. It might take you a year. Who cares? You got time. But since you got the capital to play with, you don't need to wait a year. You just gonna go on over there. That's gonna be an investment property. Go get you another construction loan because you got the experience now. Build that property. They're gonna want 20% down. Who cares? You got the capital to do it. And when it's finished being built, you're gonna put your tenant in that joker, refinance out of that construction loan, and now the tenant paying your new mortgage. Now you got that extra capital tax free. You still probably got at that point 2 acres of land minimally left. What are you doing at this point? You're gonna do the same thing again. But now you taking tax-free money that you making and you get a rental income. The reality of it is you don't have a problem. Majority of the people on this planet are in the best position possible to accomplish this task and start taking the journey to becoming wealthy, but they just not disciplined. And they're not thinking, they thinking locally instead of thinking globally. And what do I mean by that? This life, as much as people want to make it about them, I don't know another way to tell you it ain't about you. A part of the reason why things are blocked from your life, from you again to the next level, is because you're making it about you. And it's not about you. That's the real truth. If we're being honest, like you can't get over the hump because you only see you in this situation. If you're not able to see those other people that you say you care about and love the most and do it for somebody else other than you, what happens? When you get a little scared, you just give up. When you get a little bump in the road, you quit. If it get too hard, you just like, oh, it's just for me, so I ain't gonna worry about it. It's different when you're doing it for somebody else, because when you're doing it for somebody else, I can assure you, you're not giving up so easily because other people are depending on you. And when you start to really realize that you're doing this stuff really for your bloodline, for about people that you never gonna meet, you always gonna account for. They might not be as strong as me. They may not. They might not be able to endure the things that I can endure. And I can tell you flat out, no matter who you are and what you are. I mean, just for me personally, I can be wrong. It's just me. I'm always going to put my last name first. I'm willing to be put in the dirt, put somebody in the dirt, and go lay behind that wall for the people that I say I care about and love the most. I'm going to be scared. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be in so much fear, intimidate, all those things. I'm gonna be all those things, but I'm gonna do those things even in fear. Because I know for me, I ain't got no other choice. There is no plan B, C, D, none of that. There's only one plan to make sure my bloodline have a head start on life based off of the sacrifices that I made. I hope y'all capture that. So let's go a little bit deeper. Basic living expenses, the biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford, and land. Watch this. The problem that most people have in life is they don't have enough money. That's really the problem. And maybe I could let me not assume. What are the biggest issues that people have out of life? What's up, family? What are some of the biggest issues? Is money the issue? Is it not enough support from family and friends? Is it fear? Is it you don't have enough time? Is it like what really is it that prevents people from taking a life to the next level? Like what really is it? Money is always the issue. How is that an issue? I don't know how that's an issue, family. So you got to speak from a place of yourself, right? So you experience a lot of that in your life. I don't want to say the word because I don't want these platforms to get at me in no type of way. But do you experience a lot of that in your life? I don't experience a lot of that in my life. I can't tell you the last time I've experienced something like that. Money is the issue. Okay. What else? Money still? Okay. I get that. So if you experience a lot of that in your life, knowledge, I'm with you on that, Richard. That's a fact right there, family. But if you experience a lot of that in your life, you got to start looking at what you're surrounding yourself with. And I'm not trying to blame you in this situation, but you still got to look at what you're surrounding yourself with. And once you look at what you're surrounding yourself with, the one thing you definitely got to pay attention to is you gotta watch how you present. And the reason why I'm saying it is because you you teach people how to treat you. That's just a fact. Like I'm gonna say this a fact. Let me bring that back. You got to change your environment. If you're experiencing that a lot, you have to change your environment. That's the best thing I can tell you because the environment you're in, if you are always experiencing stuff like that, you got to change it. And I know that sounds difficult to do. It really ain't. One thing that I would always talk to my wife about was when me and her very first got together. I was like, "Hey, look, when we start having kids, just understand, I'm not a tree. So I'm saying that to say that I'm not stuck in one place. I'm not a tree. I'm not stuck. Meaning I can move." And she's like, what does that mean? What does that mean? I'm like, what I mean by that is simply this. If we go to a place or an environment and we start having kids and the environment become something that's not conducive to have our family around, we're going to move. Let me give an example. If you're around that stuff and everyone don't have money, that's cool. I'm happy you're on the live. Stay connected real quick because we're gonna talk about the money piece. We're gonna address that too. But say for instance, we was in. I'm gonna use Chicago. That's probably the easiest thing to use. And shout out to my families in Chicago. But if I was in Chicago with my family, right, and I got all my kids, I'm watching them, I'm talking to them, I'm having conversation, and I'm in Chicago, and I'm in an area where it's just strictly violence all the time, me and my family would pick up and move. We might not be able to move to another state because I ain't found another job in another state. My wife ain't found another job in another state. We might have to just muster up what are we going to sacrifice to get our family away from this situation. And we're going to make that sacrifice expeditiously. It might mean that, hey, y'all, I know y'all want the freshest stuff. I know that, we got to stay fly and all this other stuff. But I can't have it don't matter how fly I can get y'all if y'all in danger. I still can work this job. You still can work that job. Maybe we don't work, both of us don't work because it's gonna cost extra money for us to move from a day aftercare situation from when y'all get out of school. So mom, you're gonna have to stay home. We gonna have to find somewhere where I can just afford, but somewhere that's safer. Man, we can't be here in Chicago. Illinois is too expensive. Well, we're gonna have to look at the South, somewhere cheaper, south of Illinois. I'm looking in these other areas. I'm looking for jobs now. I'm applying left and right, but we gotta go. We gotta make that happen. It is what it is. Even if that means, wife, I found the location. It's in Georgia. It's cheap, way cheaper than Illinois. But I haven't found the job down there just yet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna get our family set up down here. And what I'm gonna wind up doing is at work, I'm gonna see if I can find a role where I can work remotely so I can be in Georgia. If I can't work remotely, I- I'm gonna see if I can just stay here in something dirt cheap. It ain't gonna matter until I find a job there, and then I'll move there later. But y'all gotta go. I can't have y'all here. If we on if we on Section 8 and I'm sneaking living in the Section 8 property, baby, look, you're gonna have to go ahead and transfer your Section 8 to another place. We can find housing, and the Section 8 voucher only pay for so much. I'll pay for the rest. I got to work to figure it out. But hey, we got to do what we got to do. But we got to get up out of here. This is too dangerous. You got to start wrapping your mind around what's the solution. God rest my mother's soul. That woman told me in every problem there's a prophet, and she wasn't lying. She was telling the wholehearted truth. Money came up. Money, money, money. So let me ask y'all. I'm just gonna ask. What do y'all use money personally for? Y'all can put it in the chat. What do you use money personally for? Money always come up anytime I'm on live. It's always gonna come up because people think that's what they lack. And I'm here to tell you, you don't lack capital or money. You lack information and taking action with the information that you get. Ain't got nothing to do with money. But for the sake of this live, what do you use money personally for? Bills? What kind of bills? Give me some examples. I'm just curious. What kind of bills? Light bill. Okay, that's fair. Car notes. That's different. Investing in what? Like what type of investment? Investing in what? Appreciate your family. What kind of investments? I'm curious. Let's dig deeper. I want to know, what do you use money for? What kind of investment? Clothes. Okay. Maybe you're just saying that by itself. Basic living expenses. What are basic living expenses? I know I mentioned it, but what is basic living expenses? Give me some examples. I need to know what you use money personally for. Be very specific when you say it. Let's not think broad. Rental properties? Okay. Yeah, so the investment you're looking at is rental property. You need money personally for that. Okay. What else? Food. Okay. That comes up all the time. That's normally the first thing that pops up. What else? Traveling. Okay. Traveling like a vacation? You're ready to move out of Chicago? Okay. We'll take that. Moving. Give you another place. I'm with it. What else? Utilities, food, car note, cable, cell phone, etc. To fund your policy. I like that right there, family. What's up, people? We're going to baby walk this today. I'm going to show y'all something. What if I told you you don't need money personally? In fact, you've been told this way before I just said it. You've been told your whole life you don't need money personally, but you ain't paid attention. And it's not your fault because the underlayer distractions that come beyond you being told you don't need money personally did a good job of from preventing you from realizing that you don't need money personally. It's almost scary when I say that out loud. So I'm gonna give you some examples because it's the right thing to do. Watch this. The first thing first, if let's just do it this way. Let's use the example first, and then I can kind of dissect each thing that y'all threw at me. Okay? I want everybody to pull out some cash just to keep me honest. Okay? So I don't care if you got $1 bill, $2 bill, $5 bill, $10 bill, $20 bill, $50 bill, $100 bill. I don't care if you got a $250 bill from the United States of America. If you got some cash you can pull out, put a 1 in the chat. I need somebody on each platform to pull out some cash. There you go. On each platform to pull out some cash just to keep me honest. And I'm going to show y'all something. I just want to make sure. Okay, appreciate you, Lola. You can be the person that keep me honest on TikTok. Appreciate your family. You keep me honest on Instagram. What about over here on YouTube and Facebook and all these other? I don't know what all these platforms are, y'all. I'm with you, family. I appreciate you for tapping in. Okay, cool. Eric, I got at least one person on each platform to keep me honest. Now, here's what I want y'all to understand. If and people that got the money here, y'all hold y'all money for a couple of seconds. I think today when I saw the lottery, it was at 135 or 140 or something like that. Whatever it is. If you hit the lottery for $140 million, what would you do? 146. Okay. If you hit the lottery for $146 million, what would you do? Would you go to work tomorrow? What would you do? If you hit the lottery for $146 million, what would you do? I want y'all to answer that question. You buy land? Okay, that's fair. I'm with it. You'll invest. That's fair. Start a business. Pack your bag. You'll call in. Okay. I ain't mad at that. Buy land and real estate. Help out family and friends. Okay. Purchase the biggest whole life insurance policy and start buying land. I like that right there, Obey. Keep living. No, that's right. Okay, I'm with that too. Do some investments, some life insurance policy for the family. I like that too. That's smart. What would I do? Um, if I hit the lottery for $146 million, I would do the exact same thing I'm already doing. I'm gonna say that one more time for the person all the way in the back. If I hit the lottery for $146 million, I would be doing the exact same thing I already do. Now, what I want you to understand is everything that y'all named, it doesn't cost $146 million. Not even close. It don't cost nowhere near $146 million to buy no land, to invest, to get no life insurance policy. Nowhere near it. So in my mind, when I go through this particular exercise, I'm saying to myself, you have to readjust the way you think. And it's because you've already got to the finish line and you're not paying attention to the process. If you always focus on the finish line and never focus on the process, you're never going to get the results. If you focus on the process, the results is a byproduct of you focusing on the process. It's almost scary to think about these things, y'all. But your mind got to shift. Let's get back to using this money personally because I don't want to go off too far on a tangent. For those people that got some cash in your hand, look at the back of your money. And I'm going to draw this one out a little bit. On the back of your money, you should see at the very top something that says the United States of America. If you see the United States of America on the back of your money at the top, put a 5 in the chat. Just want to see something. I just need y'all to keep me honest, to make sure I ain't tripping. Put a 5 in the chat if you see the United States of America on the back of your money at the top. Just curious. Got a little bit of a delay. All right, cool. Thank you, Lord. I appreciate it. I'm looking for y'all to put the 5, just, yeah, because I need you to keep me honest for the people that ain't got no cash. Okay? The United States of America is not a country. I'm going to say that slowly. The United States of America is not a country. The United States of America is a business. It is not a country. I'm going to say that slowly. The United States of America is not a country. It's a business. Now, I know people think I'm off my rockers a little bit, and that's cool. It's a simple process or a simple way of thinking. The last time I checked, countries have kings and queens. Businesses have presidents and vice presidents like your job. The last time I checked. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm bugging. So I'm going to say it one more time. The last time I checked, countries have kings and queens. Businesses have presidents and vice presidents like your job. Just so we all on the same page. This is the reason why you get upset when the United States of America send billions of dollars to the other countries. All these other countries, they send billions. Prayers still going out to those people out there in California that lost their homes to the fires. They started those poor people off with $770. And they had to figure out what type of emergency fund or what type of program they was going to make. Why? Because money is either used for public or private use. The United States of America being a business is public. So when they sending their money over to other countries, they're conducting business. When people in the United States of America go through fires, hurricanes, floods, all these different things, that's personal. They have to create businesses out of the situation or something that aligns to the public in order to make it a business expense. I hope y'all caught that. I'll explain more. If you on your job and your job decides that they want to give everybody on the job a bonus for $1,000, you're happy. And they gave it to you and it wasn't personal. It was just business, right? But if you get to your house and you ain't got food in your refrigerator and you go to your manager and you say, hey, I ain't got no food. I need about $1,000 so I can put food in my house. You think the job would give me $1,000 to put food in my refrigerator? The answer is no. They may make you call payroll and try to get you a advance on your pay. Or they might decide to figure out how they can get some form of an emergency fund to actually fund it to make it public, but they ain't got no personal money. Or maybe I'm making it up too. So I'll keep going. The United States of America is a public business. Yeah, if you go through a hardship, sound like you got some type of program for them to make it public, not personal. You get it? Watch this. Right below the United States of America, you should see something that says, "In God We Trust." If you see "In God We Trust" on your money, on the back, at the top, below the United States of America, put a 7 in the chat. Put a 7 in the chat if you see "In God We Trust" right below the United States of America. Y'all see that, right? This part I was told, I don't know if it's true. I was told that "In God We Trust" is the name of the United States of America's trust. If that's true, we all know a trust is private. I don't think I need to explain that. If it's public, it goes into business. If it's private, it goes into trust. It ain't personal, it's just business. Or it's a private matter. Don't let this stuff go over your head. Watch this. Notice these two scenarios I just explained. I explained to you that it's either public, business, private, trust. Nothing personal at all. And this stuff is on your money. Well, let's take it a step further. I need my people who got cash in their hand to put on their reading glasses. Turn your money around to the front. Find the fine print on your money. It should say, "This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private." I'm going to read that again. "This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private." It didn't say nothing about personal. And it's been on your money the whole time. It's instructions, people. But you ain't never bothered to look at it. You ain't never bothered to ask yourself, well, why did they have to tell me that? The reason why you can't move forward with your life the way you want it to, because you're taking money personally. And the money that you have, you don't even understand that it's not yours. The money that's in your bank account that you've been saving for a rainy day is not your money. You only holding it to give to the next person, because all money goes back to the original sender, and none of us are the original senders. None of us. Think about what I just said. Nobody don't hear that. Let's take it a step further. When I ask y'all a simple question, what do you use money personally for? Normally the first thing come up is food. Food, 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 food. It's almost scary to even think about that. Ain't that a wild situation? When you at work on your job, if the morale is low and your job trying to get the morale up, they don't give y'all no bonus. They don't give y'all no raise. You know what they give y'all? Pizza. Put some wings on it. Get you a couple of Pepsis. And then they expense it because food is public. I got 99 employees. 8 of those 99 employees is me, my wife, and all 6 of our kids. The one thing don't none of my employees ever have to worry about is buying food. We buy food for all our employees every single day because we can't afford to have the morale go down. And then the business expensive because food is public. What's the next thing pop up? Car notes. Oh, goodness. February 2024, around Valentine's Day, my wife, one of her businesses needed a vehicle. So my wife business went out there and bought a 2024 long body Range Rover, paid $153,000 cash for it. And being that it weighed over 6,000 pounds and used 100% for business, the IRS allowed us to write the whole thing off. Ain't no car note. So when you put insurance on that vehicle, it's a business expense. When you put gas in that vehicle, it's a business expense. When you do maintenance on that vehicle, it's a business expense. One of my business needed a vehicle this past December 2024. So one of my business went about a 2025 Cadillac Escalade, $152,000 cash. And being that it weighed over 6,000 pounds and used 100% for business, the IRS allowed us to write that off too. Tax code 179. You're driving on a public road. Tell me the last time you drove on a personal road outside of your driveway. Go. Tell me the personal road that you're driving on outside of your driveway. Go. I'm listening. I'm all ears. The last time I checked, you're driving on a public road. So why are you taking this personal at all and you're not paying attention to the words because they do matter? Or maybe I'm bugging. I'm in a 7,000 square foot home right now. This ain't my house. It's one of the trust house. So when them bills come in this house, they not my bills, they the trust bills. A roof over your head is private, so it goes in a trust. The roof over somebody else's head that you control is public, so it goes in a business. Maybe I'm tripping. For my small business owners out here right now, you got a home office. Don't you write off the square footage of your office at your home? If you don't, you should. Y'all on this live right now to get free information from me, right? And I'm on this live to show y'all my pretty clothes and my pretty shoes. This is a use situation. I'm not going to let you misuse me, and I'm not going to misuse y'all. But as I get on here to show y'all my pretty clothes and pretty shoes, you got to understand Zabo103 also one of my businesses. And even though I ain't getting paid on these platforms, business expense, business expense, business expense, I can keep going. Just like you writing off the square footage of your office, I'm conducting business right now. You don't think I'm writing off the square footage of my movie theater? You don't think I'm writing off the square footage of my gym because I conduct business in there too? You don't think I'm writing off the square footage at my bar to go and get my chocolate milk? I conduct business over there too. I can keep going. I'm trying to make this stuff make sense. I'm trying to get you to understand. There's a bigger world out here, y'all. Y'all tell me what I miss when it comes to what y'all use y'all money personally for. Because I don't want to keep diving through and diving through and diving through if it's already clicked. What do you use your money personally for? Did I miss something? Cover the house, cover the car, cover the food, cover the clothes. What else you want to cover? I don't want to make sure we all on the same page. If we good, I'll keep moving. See, the crazy part that you got to start to wrap your brain around is you don't lack money. You only lack information and taking action with the information that you get. That's the part that's wild about this stuff, y'all. So I want you to think about this for a second. If you have a 9 to 5 job, I want you to put a 7 in the chat if you got a job. You work for somebody else. Put a 7 in the chat if you have a job and you work for somebody else. I'm gonna see something. Okay. TikTok, we shout out over there. YouTube, Facebook, shout out to y'all, family. IG, where you at? All right, cool. Y'all know y'all job ain't got no money, right? Newsflash. I'm gonna say it one more time. Y'all know y'all job ain't got no money, right? Can you get a loan? No. Y'all know y'all job ain't got no money, right? I hope y'all do know that, right? It's almost scary when you really start to really just. Again, I know people don't really want to be truthful with themselves. People give power to everybody and everything else. So I'm gonna say this one last time. Your job don't have no money. They never have. It's almost scary to even say it out loud. And I can tell you, again, as a person that worked at Bank of America for 20 years as an executive without a college degree, making a couple hundred grand a year, you couldn't tell me Bank of America didn't have no money. I know this to be true today. It's almost scary to think about it. Imagine you went to work today, you spoke with a customer or a consumer, and you got money for them. You didn't put that money in your bank account. You didn't put it in your purse, your wallet, your pocket. You gave it to your job. Flat out. And you're going to do that for the next 10 days before your job give you what's called a paycheck. I mean, I could be making that up. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Some people get paid on the 1st and the 15th, the end of the month and the 15th. Some people get paid once a month. I don't know. But the point that I'm making is you had to work on your job and give your job money. And then your job gave you a fraction of that money back in the form of a direct deposit. If we're being honest, and I don't, again, it's almost scary to think about this stuff. If you in management, you told plenty of people that you didn't had to let go. We didn't fire you. You fired yourself. Your performance wasn't up to par. So you fired yourself. We didn't fire you. You fired yourself. What they're telling you is you didn't make enough money to keep you here. You didn't make enough money to keep you here. That's wow. Think about this for a second. You got a person out here bragging that they make $100,000 a year. I make 6 figures a year. I'm in the top 10% of, fellas. Y'all like to say this when y'all be trying to humble women. I ain't even gonna get started on that conversation. Grown men. I'm in the top 10% of men. I make $100,000 a year. Like you trying to humble somebody. Congratulations, you broke. Like, what are we talking about? You make $11.41 an hour, and that's before taxes. If we being honest. I don't make $11.41 an hour before taxes. I make 6 figures a year. Ain't nowhere in the world I'm making that. I make way more than that. No, you don't. Notice I said before taxes. You're really only making about $6 an hour. Bro, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Your math is off. Nope. My math is accurate. There's 8,760 hours in a year. If you divide that by your salary, that's what you make before taxes per hour. If we're being honest, I don't work 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I know you don't. Your light bill do. Your phone bill do. Your car payment do. The groceries in your house do. The only thing that don't work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year is you. That ain't nobody's fault. It is what it is. That's why you stuck in the rat race. You ain't did the math. Here's the scarier part. If you make $100,000 a year, when you go to work every day, minimally, you got to get your job $10,000. If you don't hit that $200,000 in a month target minimally, you're getting a verbal for your performance. If you miss that number 2 months in a row, they're going to give you a written warning. If you miss it 3 months in a row, they're going to give you a final. If you miss that 5 months in a row, you're fired. Appreciate your family. Think about that for us. Like, I want you to really think about what I'm saying. Okay, maybe I'm making that up. Maybe that ain't how y'all jobs are. Y'all jobs ain't like that. You just go to work and do what you want to do. What's up, family? You just go to work and do what you want to do. That's cool. I ain't tripping. I ain't mad at you. Y'all lucky. Y'all are blessed. But if you know, like I know, you're gonna make that $10,000 a day every day you go to work. By the time you get to that 10th day of your job, you done gave your job $100,000, and they gonna give you $3,100 after tax. If we're being honest, but nobody don't hear that. And if you're giving them 100 grand every pay period, that means in a year's period of time, you done gave them $2.6 million for you to get that 100 grand. And if you know, like I know, you're making way more than that for your job. And when your job give you that direct deposit, guess what you're doing? Where are you putting your money? In the bank. Why? Because you can't put it up on your mattress. But you think the bank is a holding facility. I know it's a lending institution. And there are people out there just like me that understand the power of zero. It's almost unfortunate that we don't even see this stuff. I think about that sometimes. And what's up, family? I think about it sometimes and I say to myself, you know how many people, when they think about money, the first thing come out of their mouth is taxes? Boy, taxes gonna hit you in the head. Ooh, you playing with taxes, man. You trying to avoid the taxes? Come on, y'all. Zabo103TV.com. My link is in the bio. You can go over there and subscribe over there. It's $12.99 a month, family. Shout out to that king. Zabo103TV.com. But these are things that you got to start to pay attention to. And it's because most people are in a scarcity mindset. And being that they're in a scarcity mindset, what's up, family? They miss out on all these beautiful things in life. I don't think people truly like, man, I didn't want to go here tonight, but I think I might have to because I got this cat over here that just won't stop. And I'm gonna say this. What's up, bro? and I'm gonna say this um as as a gentleman, okay? I'm saying this from love. And ladies, I want you to, this is where I want y'all to close y'all ears a little bit. Fellas, we got to do better. We got to. Like, there be so many grown men that get on so many other grown men lives and other platforms and just want to play. So many grown men that just want to troll. I don't get it. Appreciate your family. I don't get it. Like, it's a head scratcher for me. You at home laying on somebody's couch. It ain't even your home. You laying on somebody's couch. You don't even know where your next meal gonna come from. And you think you got time to play. This stuff is like, it's so wild to me when I see this stuff. Cause I'll click on their profile. I'm like, oh, okay, they actually got a picture up. That's a dude. They got X amount of people following them. And these people trolling. Then I understand some a little bit different. I know this is just me. I could be wrong. People that got some business about themselves ain't trolling. People that's on their grind and hustling, they not trolling. They not doing it. It's always people that's trying to pull you down to where they at. And if they pull you down, they're gonna be able to beat you. You're not gonna be able to beat them where they at. You can't do nothing about it other than say, look, man, you right. I'll just be wealthy. It's cool. It's 100% cool. All I know is the time there is 6:37. Whoever that's taking care of you, they'll be home in the next 20 minutes. You need to be going ahead and get started cleaning up, taking out the trash, sweeping, making the house smell good before they get up in there, before they be then kicked you out. I'm just saying, go ahead and get the house situated. If that person come home and you laying down on the couch on social media trolling, now they gotta come in there and cuss you out. Don't make your life bad for trying to troll somebody else that don't know nothing about you. I don't know you at all. I have no clue who you are. I don't get it. It's a head scratcher to me, y'all. I really be trying to understand. And these grown men be having kids. Depending on what state you in, brother, this might be the last day of your kid at school today. Your kid got out of school today. Do you even know if they got promoted to the next grade? Or you gonna wait till they mama tell you? Your kid go to school every day for this whole last school year and been getting a free lunch or a reduced lunch, and you on here playing. I need you to wake up. I don't need you to wake up. You do what you want to do. Stay asleep. I don't get it. It's a head scratch to me, y'all. All I'm saying is, grow up, family. You can't continue living life that way. I can tell you flat out from a person that went through and experienced the same thing that you're going through right now in your life, living off of somebody else. I know how it feel to be sleeping on somebody's couch that don't even want you there. I know how that feel. You ain't really struggled until you done stayed on somebody's couch and you know they don't want you there. But you can't be just doing nothing. That's the reason why they don't want you there, because they know you're not gonna do nothing better for yourself. And I remember being in that slump, and I'm telling you, family, it, it ain't a good feeling. But you're not trolling to be funny. You're trolling because you broke, and that's a realization you got to come up with. I'm just telling you, because this stuff is not about you. It's not. So I'm gonna send one up to the big guy for you. I hope your life get better, family. I really do. Back to what I was saying. Jeez Louise, man, these folks are crazy. Listen, when you start to understand, one, that money's not real and money ain't yours, and money's always going to go back to the original sender, other things have become clear. Like, I can tell you, when I was at Bank of America making a couple $100,000 a year, and I finally got to a place in my businesses that I had going where I was making a couple $100,000 a month, and I left Bank of America, my perspective shift. It completely shift. And it didn't shift because I was making an absorbent amount more money. That had nothing really to do with it. It shifted because I had more time to think. The money was great. Don't get it twisted. I was like, oh, this is amazing. I can go and come as I please. I can do what I want to do. I was so happy it didn't make no sense. At least that's what I thought I was. But when I had time to sit back and really think without thinking about what I got to do at the job, thinking about a better way to go to work so I ain't in all that traffic. When I had time to sit back and really think, all the things that were important started to just appear in front of me every single day. And I was like, wow, I didn't know how amazing life really was to now. You know, I look at my 26-year-old daughter and I'm like, financially, I was there for her. But in my eyes, from what I see today, man, I was a deadbeat dad because I couldn't spend a whole bunch of time with her. at all. And that hurts. It hurts. It hurts badly because I always say to myself now, I'm like, man, I wish I could have did it differently. But I know I can't say that because I was supposed to go through it this way. So I can appreciate it. Maybe that's what it was. I look at my other kids and I'm like, man, a good part of their life, they saw their papa work. Bust his butt. Well, he couldn't really be in their life like that. And it's a difference in being a financial, you know, being a supporter, being a provider for your family versus being a active father. I'm just telling you, like, you'll get men that'll pop on my line, they'll complain about child support, but they won't complain about visitation. I ain't trying to hurt nobody's feelings, but the truth can never be considered disrespect. I'm just telling you, like, it's a wild day when you have that realization. I look at my 7-year-old who ain't never seen his mom and dad work a day in his life. And I'm just telling you, like, it's it, the difference that you see in your kids when you able to see those things from the very front row versus being all the way back in the nosebleed is night and day. And even looking at your kids' mentality when they have you in their life all day, every day, and they can barely see you, it's night and day. Like, this stuff is scary, man. Like, you don't understand the realization that I almost cried because I was like, man, the nanny didn't have to tell me that my baby boy don't eat them chicken nuggets. He like shrimp. I got to see it. I got to see him take his first steps. Not, oh, he walking. Somebody told you while you was at work. Man, I can't wait till I get home to see my baby walking. Now you see your baby walking. Oh, I saw my baby take his first step. No, you didn't. You in there. You was at work. If we being honest, when your baby saying, like, I get so excited when I hear my son saying new words. Even still today, at 7. If he say something different, I get excited about it. Because I'm saying to myself, I would have never experienced this stuff. I ain't need a nanny or somebody else to tell me that he's doing these different things. I was able to see it. When they have digital learning days at school, I got a digital learning day. When they got a snow day and it ain't snowing, I got a snow day. They out for the summer, I'm out for the summer. Y'all, like, I'm trying to get you to understand it's a different world, and I need you to grasp this stuff because you deserve it. I promise you, you deserve it. Your kids deserve this stuff. I don't mean to start preaching, man, but he kind of threw me off. Only thing I'm saying is, fellas, men do what they want and boys do what they can. And I'm a grown man. So at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I want. You should probably do the same. But back to where I'm going, back to this other stuff. Let's get back into this teaching. The other thing I'm going to say is that when you start to look at these situations, you got to start understanding, just like your kids are going to repeat everything they hear you say. And they're going to do what they see you do. And you can't be mad about it. We the same way. Everything you saw that you tell your kids right now is probably something that your parents told you. In fact, whatever your parents did, you probably do the same things right now today. If your parents had a job, you probably got a job. If your parents had businesses, you probably got businesses. It just is what it is, y'all, because that's where it starts. And that was the secret. That's how I was able to break open this other world that I thought that only existed for people that were lucky and born into the right family. I didn't know you could create the right family. I didn't know that. I thought you had to be born into that stuff. And if you're not born into that stuff, it ain't never happening to you. You got to get lucky and go play basketball or football or something. I don't freaking know. Become an actor or actresses or something in order to try to make a heeba beeba money. I don't know. I didn't know you could create that world. That was wild to me. You got so many people out here trying to figure out how to get into these secret societies instead of creating their own. Don't let that go over your head. It's almost scary to even think about this stuff. But when I realized a couple of things, I asked myself a question. If I want to know everything about money, who should I look at? Who should I study? If I want to know everything about building generational wealth, who should I look at? Who should I study? And you know what I found out? I found out that there ain't nobody on this planet that know more about money than the banks. Nobody. You know what else I found out? There ain't nobody on this planet that know more about building generational wealth than somebody that they had wealth in their family for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. That's a scary thought. Super scary. And I almost had to, when I had that moment, I said, well, you know what? I've been at the bank all these years. I've been looking at everything the bank doing. I know it's, I know everything I need to know about the bank, I think. But none of this stuff is working. But I understand. I'll give you some examples. Watch this. Let me get y'all out of here. Watch this.